and he's one of those wee players that they would love to hate. So he'd be right up for it, and I wouldn't put it past him. Even though you all know that I'm not his biggest fan, I think it's the type of game for wee Lee Griffiths. He can ping a good shot. He has got a good shot on him. He's also got 13 bad shots on him, but sometimes he can. This game might be, or fixture might be right up that wee man's street tomorrow.
Could you imagine what Griffiths will do if he scores against him? I reckon he'll self-combust. I reckon he'll just
thumbs
explode.
Thumbs up.
So I just don't know if we're going to play true up front. That's the thing, and I'd say knowing the way that, having seen the way, I don't know the way, but having seen the way that Dyla sort of normally sets him up, probably the best or the closest we can get to 4-4-2 would be probably Griffiths up there and then Stokes behind or something. But I reckon just the fact that, and again, I don't necessarily like Stokes on a left wing, but to be fair, he's been playing pretty well there, so you can't really complain about that. But
that could be another option if it's Stokes out on the left with Commons playing that just slightly behind Griffiths or just off Griffiths. That could maybe work as well. So
I reckon that's more likely than anything. In which case, do you maybe consider Henderson as well? For a bit of an engine sort of thing.
I wouldn't throw the wee man into a game like this, to be honest, because I think we need as many players that had experience of those old games in the past available and on the park for us. So I wouldn't risk throwing somebody like Henderson into a game like this. We need our most experienced team out.
Yeah, probably. I'd say that's probably fair. I mean, on the bench, coming off as well, I think would be not a bad shout. Just a bit of energy, to
once we're 8-0 up.
Once we're 8-0, let him get the 9.
Just to shore up the midfield.
All right, so what we've got? Look at Gordon, we've got Lustig, Van Dijk, Denayer, Izagiri on the left, Brown, Beaton, Stokes out left, Johansson. Christ, we've got too many players, have we? Collins and Griffiths, is that right? Is that too many?
Aye. Don't know. Ask the referee, he should be counting. Don't ask his linesmen because they're usually pish as well. What's your thoughts on the team, Liam? You've been sitting there quite quiet, mate. Do you think that's roughly what the line-up's going to be? Have you get any other surprises that you'd throw in there?
One idea I was toying with, you say look, the younger players, it might not be the best game to throw them into, but I think sometimes it can be the making of a player,
Yep.
You remember the Mark Burchell, one of his first games, he scored a goal against the Huns, the 5-1.
Absolutely, the 5-1 game, I do remember that very well. Maravchik scored a couple in that game as well, didn't he? And Big Johan.
Yeah, that was his debut.
That's right, it was a belter. You're right.
But the thing is, it's like, I think it'd be good to have that kind of that unpredictability. Because the thing is, I've noticed about watching the tribute act play this year is that they cannot adapt. Right, Hearts 2 or 3 times during the course of the game where they played them and scalped them, they altered their formation, and they maybe just substitute one player, just change things up, and Sevco could not adapt. They have one way to play, and if that one way doesn't play, they don't have any plan B. They just start kicking things. And I think that's what we need to have. We need to have maybe 2 or 3 different variations that we can use just to mix it up with them, because if we mix it up, they do not know how to adapt. It's something that McCoist couldn't put into them, was like any sense of adaptability, and McDowell's just continued that. And really, that to me, that's their biggest weakness. Apart from the total lack of heart that team has, is also their lack of adaptability. So we need to play on that, because we have a lot of variation in our squad, and I think the substitutes bench will be just as interesting as who's starting. I would not be surprised if one of Griffiths or Stokes is on the bench, just to give us something different if we're a certain length of time into the game and things aren't going as we want them to.
Can you see Guidetti starting?
See, again, you talk about how this game can be the making of players. Guidetti's had a difficult time recently. A hat trick against the artists formerly known as the Huns would be a good way to go,
It certainly would, and he's certainly got that. He's got that bit of arrogance about him as well that you want to see in your players to an extent.
He would smell it.
The right attitude. Yeah, he would. He actually would. That's an interesting point, actually. Pat, sorry, what were you trying to say there?
No, well, first, let me ask, Liam, is your dad's name Bill?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, he's posting stuff in the chat room.
All right.
He said he'll call you later after the podcast. He hasn't said anything rude anyway. You're all right. So.
All right.
Hello, Bill.
That's good.
Sorry, hello, Mr. Carrigan.
Has Liam said anything rude?
He doesn't post in the chat room. Anyway, so I was just.
He had a good rant earlier on, no, Bill.
I did check the Motherwell game. I think the team that we just picked looks pretty much like what we almost started with in the Motherwell game, barring the Matthews-Lustig swap. So what they had is Gordon Matthews was starting right back, but then Lustig came on at half time. Van Dijk, Denier, Izagiri, then Beaton, Brown, Stokes, Commons, Johansson, Griffiths. Now, is that what we're going to go with against the old Sevconians? That I think from what we were chatting about
that's not going to be a million miles off. Although I do think and I hope that Lustig does start at right back rather than Matthews. Not that I'm saying I dislike Matthews. I think Matthews is a cracking player as well, and the two of them have scored good goals for us in recent weeks as well, which is pretty decent. But Lustig, I think, just gives us a bit more there.
Well, I think the issue that Lustig might have is, by all accounts, it sounds as if the pitch is fairly heavy. So if are you going to get 90 minutes out of Lustig when he's only played 45 minutes, isn't he? Half
the adrenaline will take him through it, Pat. If he's fit at all, he'll get through that game. They'll all be dying to play in this game.
Yep.
Because it's not every time you come up against a brand new club. You want to do your best, don't you?
Yep. Well, looking at the bench, again, you swap out the Lustig Matthews one. Again, that could be interchangeable, but you had Ambrose, Guidetti, Skepovic, Lustig was on the bench, Zaluska, McGregor, and Forrest, which again gives you a fair few options. I mean, we've kind of forgotten about James Forrest as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he chucked him in, because I just think at the moment it's going to be a fairly, if the park is like a ploughed field, and the fact that the other semi-final is going to be played on it on the Saturday, so Aberdeen United is going to be played on the Saturday on the same pitch. You just don't know what sort of state it's going to be in the Sunday. With the weather they're having back there, it could end up like a ploughed field. So, but yeah, I guess we'll see how we go with it. But I reckon that's as good a team as we're going to put out. But the only kind of slight issue I've got if you're going to have Griffiths versus Guidetti is again the conditions. If you are going to have to play the out ball to some, basically a high ball up front, Griffiths probably isn't your best option. But if the pitch actually turns out okay and you're going to get the ball down and run at them, he's the guy I think you'd want in there. I
would hope we're never going to play a high ball anyway. With the players we've got, it won't suit our style. I think that'd be playing into their hands.
I'm just saying I'm just saying an out ball. I'm not saying we play the high ball, but an out ball. If you're in an issue in defence or in midfield, you've probably a better chance with Guidetti getting on the end of it and holding it up and stuff than. I've probably been a bit.
I'm hoping it's them that will be looking for out balls. I think we should be pummeling them, just playing possession, and they're the ones that are chasing the game. I think they'll be the ones that are dying for somebody to hold the ball up for them up front if they can get it that far. But we shall see, of course. We shall see. Will we move on to predictions then? Because this is going to be interesting.
Right,
Liam, come on
then. You go first.
I always like going last though, because I ask the questions and then I can suss out what you boys say, and then steal your answers. Right. Liam, what do you think then? Let's talk us through your thoughts and then give us your rationale for your prediction, your score prediction.
Right, I will say 4-1 to Celtic.
Oh, are they going to score, mate?
Yeah, they are. Here's what's going to happen, right?
Right, tell us.
To me, that this is a great theatre of football, right?
Yeah.
They're going to score first,
Off.
right? And so other fans are going to give it, oh, we're back. This is us. This is the same.
We are the people.
And then we're just going to carve them open one by one, and we're going to destroy them. But
now,
here's the thing, right?
Nice
I reckon, in an attempt to balance things, an honest mistake will be made by the referee, and at least one of our guys will get sent off.
Oh my
Which is why it'll only be 4. We're going to have at least 1 red card. But then after we go 3 or 4 up, they are going to totally lose the rag, and about 3 of their players will get sent off and off. I reckon you'll have at least 3 red cards in the game.
Wow. Goodness me.
This is going to be exciting.
So that's prediction.
This is
either 4 or 5-1 to Celtic, with the Hunt scoring first and at least 2 of their players getting red carded. That's my prediction.
Well, I'll tell you something. The Daily Record will have a field day with that, mate, if you're spot on there.
They'd have to do research to actually listen to this podcast, and that's beyond your average Daily Record hacks. I don't think so.
Liam, why not just write the match report for them right now and just send it through and say this is what's going to happen? Just print it on Sunday.
Would they pay me for it? They'd say it was theirs and just use it.
I'll pay you for it. I'll give you $5 for it. There you go, $5. I'll pay you. There you go. Just send it through. That's brilliant.
You'd be able to use words that they can only dream of using, though, Liam, in an article.
Jesus. It really does frustrate me to look at the level of some of the people who are writing in the Scottish media right now, and I can't get a job. It infuriates me.
You could be their Japan correspondent. Don't tell me you'd sell your soul to the Record.
You're right. So you've got your own blog, though. I've seen your walkabout Osaka things as well.
Yeah.
So.
What we need is for some Japanese billionaire to hint that he might buy the Huns. Then I'll have a few stories I can write.
With wealth off the radar.
Aye. Maybe speak to my private student tomorrow. He owns a couple of restaurants. I'll say, I'm going to just eat this and say you're thinking about buying Rangers. Do you want to do me a favour?
Aye, that's it. Drop the hint. Conjure it up. Right, so you're going for a multiple sendings off and 4-1 to the good guys. Right, Patrick, what's your own analysis? What's it?
I'm just going to say to Peter McCaffrey and Chris McMahon, yes, you should come up to Melbourne for the game on Sunday. So you're very welcome to come and join our boys down at the Pint on Punt. So anyway, Chris and Peter are having a nice little chat in the chat right now. Liam, we might have a bit of echo from you again. Could you just
mad feedback?
Right.
Do you want to just disconnect and just connect back in again?
Right, no bother. Give me 2 minutes.
2 minutes? Doesn't take that long, Christ. Right, see if it stops when he leaves. Stops.
Yep. Stops immediately.
Told you it was him last time. Right, I'll wait for him to come back in, but I reckon I'm sort of 2 minds. As part of me says the conditions are going to be fairly average. It's winter time, snowing and all that sort of crap, and the park's going to be like a tatty field, as I said.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that it's not going to be quite the blowout that some people reckon it's going to be. I still think it'll be a relatively comfortable win. Maybe like a 2-0 or 3-1. But so
you don't think it's going to be the 8-0s or 9-0s new record scores?
I just think the conditions aren't going to favour that. Part of me thinks that if we do get an early goal, they will crumble, and I reckon we will end up with the 4-5.
I would love that.
But I think it depends on two things. Depends on the early goal, depends on the conditions. My gut feel would be, and again along the same lines of Liam, I reckon they'll score. I reckon it's going to either be first or it's going to be the consolation goal towards the end. I don't think it's going to be a massive impact in the game. They'll score first and we'll just take over and wipe the floor with them. But if I was pushed, I'd probably say 4-1, and I'm going to go with Liam. I reckon there's at least one sending off in it.
Okay.
And I reckon, you hearing this, Kev? You hearing this? Somebody is going to score with an overhead kick.
Off.
Oh.
Radical.
Some